Hey, it's me and Caleb, and we're editing an old video on a Toyota that had a computer ground problem. Okay, if you guys want to watch this whole video, I'll definitely put the link in this one. But the main thing, our main purpose here, is to show what a bad computer ground looks like, and not really the troubleshooting procedure through the video, right? Like that one cut that I made coming up that you're going to see. We have no communication, then we go right to computer grounds. And the reason why we're doing it for this, guys, is I just want to emphasize that voltage drop testing, not resistance testing, is the answer. I had a guy, and Caleb doesn't know this. He's like, I don't want to be on film. I'm like, well, you will be when I tell you this. I had a guy this morning, an engineer, electrical engineer, who commented on our AC video that we just did, that he said I overcomplicated my ground test using my test light, and that I should use an ohm meter. He said I should use an ohm meter. That's what prompted this whole thing. I'm like, I'm going to show you that we're going to go back in time years ago, one of my early videos, one of the best ones I have for the argument of don't use an ohm meter. Ohm meter is going to get you in trouble. Voltage drop testing is the answer. So again, when you guys watch this clip, that's the key. Voltage drop testing. It's not about how we found the bad ground. If you want to know how we found the bad ground, go ahead and watch the original link. I just chopped this thing down to a point that says use your voltmeter, voltage drop testing, or in our case, we used a test light. We still did the same thing, used existing current flow to do our measurements. Put that freaking ohm meter in your toolbox. So that is one of my computer grounds. And that is one crazy looking computer ground signal, isn't it? You see that is on ohms, not mega ohms. We're reading 0 ohms of resistance on a bad computer ground. Okay, I'm in the car and I have the key on, and I want you to notice that the check engine light right now is kind of pulsing on and off a little bit. And also, I've tried to communicate with this and I'm getting a no communication. Having a hard time keeping it running. It barely revs up. Check engine light comes and goes, flashes on and off. And the flashing of this light is certainly not misfire related. This is definitely something different. We're going to take some new signals, and when we're doing new signals in new locations, of course we moved our ground to a different location, and I can't stress this enough how important it is to make sure that that ground connection is good, and we just simply don't know that yet. I mean, even if it's on a metal stud, that doesn't mean it's a good ground. So I told you I was going to check the computer grounds and not the powers to save time, but I need to check at least one power, and the reason I'm doing that, I'll show you that on the meter. The reason I'm checking this power is I want to make sure, not so much that I have power there because I already tested it, but I'm testing my ground on my meter. So now I can be confident in whatever I read on these grounds is going to be an accurate voltage reading. Some of you prefer to do ohm tests on circuit grounds. I definitely prefer to do voltage tests. So I'm going to do a voltage drop test on the computer grounds. So that is one of my computer grounds, and that is one crazy looking computer ground signal, isn't it? 8 volts at the peak, minus 3 volts on the valley, and I have to tell you guys that every single one of these grounds is showing the same pattern. We have a computer ground problem on this car, no question about it. So where does all this tie together? Well, the engine was replaced, and the problem started after the engine was replaced. These grounds go to the engine. Thermostat housing looks pretty corroded. Remember, this was a junkyard engine. That bolt is tight.
To be clear, I'm not on that bolt, I'm on the eyelet itself. So what that means is there is no problem at all in this harness that our ground is bad all the way out here. And I'm betting on we take that bolt off, clean up this corroded aluminum housing from sitting in a junkyard, and we're going to fix this problem. We can do one more voltage reading, and that's on the bolt itself, or the housing itself. See what the housing reads. And that would be just clipped on the bolt. And you see that that is a good ground at that point. So even though those connections are tight and that bolt is tight, those are bad grounds. Okay, I didn't think I was going to have the opportunity to show this, but I do, and I'm trying to save some time. I'm using a different meter instead of bringing the Varus all the way in here. I'm just using my regular multimeter. I'm using that same ground location underneath, using a jumper wire because I do not have alligator clips on my ohm meter. No big deal. And looking at my ohm meter screen, I'm going to take this to show you I'm not lying to you, and I'm just going to touch something else metal on the car. I'll just come over here to the seat and I'll touch on this, and I'll show you that I get a reading of 0 ohms of resistance. I got a bad connection here, hang on. So you see I'm at 0.2, 0.1, so no resistance. You see my meter is connected. Keep in mind what I told you guys. We have a bad ground. And manufacturer flowcharts always have you check computer grounds with an ohm meter. A lot of people in the field swear by the ohm meter. I've actually gotten people that have given me a hard time about doing voltage tests. Why don't you use an ohm meter? Well, this is the perfect reason why. Computers unplugged, when you do ohm tests, we want to make sure the circuit's isolated, and I'm on just one of my ground wires that we proved is bad. So I'm touching on that ground. Let's look at the meter. So I'm OL right now on the mega ohm scale. That's a complete open. Touch on my T-pin and we read 0 ohms. You see that that is on ohms, not mega ohms. We're reading 0 ohms of resistance on a bad computer ground. Do we need to do voltage drop tests? Yes, we do. Does the circuit need to be loaded? Yes, it does. A ohm meter can be misleading on higher current circuits, and you can see on this case you might think a computer ground is not a high current circuit. Well, guess what? The ohm meter is even inaccurate on computer grounds. Voltage drop, voltmeter is the answer. Alright, I got the bolt loose enough right now to show you that when I wiggle this I can actually make this thing make a decent ground, at least for a period of time. You know, all kind of weird noises and clicking going on, but if I pull on that, that's much better. That's more what we want to see on this ground. Certainly not that right there. And I'll get you a shot of it when we're all done. Alright, I had to get a shot of this before I clean it. The eyelet itself has some rust on it, but I'm not too worried about that. It's the backside that we're worried about, right where it bolts to this thermostat housing or whatever part of the intake this is. I guess this is a lesson learned. You get an engine from a salvage yard, you better clean up the ground points before you bolt them up. And that was our resistance in this circuit. That was causing all of his problems. Okay, here's the after. I just used a screwdriver and just scraped all the crap off. I wish I could have shown that, all the white powdery stuff that was coming off of there. That was pretty cool. But this is going to be a fix. I'll bolt it up, show you the scope. Okay, here's our after shot. After tightening that back up, I have the yellow lead on the ground eyelet. Again, black lead on a known good ground for my meter. We're at 0 volts. Certainly we want to have the key on. The key is on. I'll turn the key on and off a couple times. There's key off. There's key on. I see no change at all. I'm going to start the car. Let's see what that light looks like. Remember, the check engine light was kind of flashing on and off. It's got a little rattle in the car. We have a exhaust that's hitting on the underside of the car a little bit. This thing is running very smooth. I don't see that light flickering on and off. Let me rev it up a couple times. Alright, that's a good thing. Now, of course, the check engine light is still on, so we have a stored trouble code. Let's see if we can communicate with this system now and see what we got. And we are communicating. And the code is a power steering pressure circuit fault. We could do that in a different video. I'm not going to go any further with that right now. There's a few other things it's going to need before we can let this car go, but I'm happy with that fix.
So what do you guys think? You think we should be teaching people to do resistance testing on circuits that carry current flow? The answer is no. It's voltage drop testing. When you guys watched that, the key was on the whole time doing those computer grounds. That was a loaded circuit ground to ground voltage drop test. And you know, don't get me wrong, there are times where the ohm meter is the tool. When you're doing CAN system network resistance measurements, another one I'm thinking of is when you have a partial short to ground that won't light a test light but is affecting a low voltage signal circuit. I had a module and engine computer talking to each other, 5-volt signal being pulled down to 1 volt by a 900 ohm short to ground. It's a case study I'm thinking of. Would not light the test light. Ohm meter was the key on that one. There are times the ohm meter is the tool, but for most applications and what manufacturers are teaching us, it is not, and it is incorrect. We just did a case study on my wife's 2012 Navigator with a heated seat problem, and the modules were not communicating. Actually, it's a case study coming up on the premium channel. Lots of cool network diagnostics involved in that one. It was on the medium speed CAN network, but in any case, the manufacturer flowchart has you measuring the resistance of the feed wire and resistance of the ground wire for the module. That module at times carries more than 30 amps of current flow. And so for them to have you measuring resistance on a circuit that carries that kind of current, it's ridiculous. When is the ohm meter useful on circuits like that, measuring powers and grounds? To be honest with you, never. Don't use it. Voltage drop test. And if you can't load the circuit with the existing voltage, that's where your test light comes into play. Guys, if you're looking for more of this type of stuff, of course you can watch my videos here on YouTube or Facebook, but make sure you go to my website, scannerdanner.com, and click on the Scanner Danner Premium tab. Of course, you'll need to subscribe to get into this portion of it. It is $11 a month. It's like 36 cents a day, 37 cents a day. You can't find what I'm offering for this. But I want to refer you to a playlist, Basic Electrical Concepts. And in particular, in this list would be Basic Electrical Review Part 2. And in this video, what I've done is I have reviewed the entire contents of that video you guys just watched. The first part of this review, I'm going over a Cadillac with a bad block ground. Of course, resistance and voltage. And then at this point, this is about the 4-minute mark, I start going over the Toyota with the bad block ground. You see the block connections, describing what I'm doing and why. There's your one strand of copper wire comparison. NTC and PTC resistance. Voltage drop measurements. When to use the ohm meter, when to not. Ground circuit voltage when you're cranking, that's what that's a picture of. Another variable. Some good stuff, guys, is the point. Check out the channel if you can. Read the feedback page. Click on that. Go down the list. Read some of the feedback, please. See what this is doing for people. It is changing lives all over the world. Pretty awesome stuff. Thank you, guys. Hope to see you on the website. Look forward to your comments. I'll see you next time.